Hey guys, welcome back. Today I actually wanted to talk about my sleep paralysis experiences. Um, when they happened, I really didn't think that it was, I don't know, I didn't really think that there was like a term for it. I honestly thought that I was gonna be abducted by aliens. Like, that's the first thought that came to my head. So, anyway, let me backtrack here. I've been watching a lot of videos lately, like on the paranormal, and I've been seeing a lot of discussion about sleep paralysis, like people having it. And to my knowledge, I had no idea that so many people suffered from it. And I know that a lot of people like to associate it with the paranormal. When it started and I started noticing it was when I lived in our house in San Bernardino. It's actually the house where I lived prior to where I live now. And at the time, my mom, brother, and father and I actually moved into that house when it was first built. Like, we were the first people to live in there. Things happen in life, you know, my parents separated, and it was just me, my mother, and my brother left in the house. And at the time, there was an empty lot where my bedroom was, like the side of the house where my room was and my brother's. On the other side of the fence was just an empty lot. There were no other houses, and I think that kind of made me even more paranoid and just affected me, I guess, and affected my thinking and pretty much made me a paranoid person. So it would be like a nightly thing. Like, every single night I would have this problem. And at the time, Signs came out, you know, that movie with Mel Gibson and the aliens. Aliens freak the crap out of me. Like, if I saw one right now in front of me, I would probably die of a heart attack immediately. They just scare the shit out of me, and I don't know. Some people want to see one. Some people want to be taken by them, and I'm like thinking, why? Why would you want to do that? They're scary. They freak me out. They know too much. Like, they're really smart. Those are just like all the thoughts that run through my head. But anyway, they are a part of my paranoia and my fear. And you know, at the time, even now, you know, all the stories are like, it happens out in the boonies, like people that are on desolate roads get taken. So in my mind, moving from like the LA area where it's like very busy, a lot of houses are next to each other, moving out to San Bernardino where we were the last house on the block and there were empty lots. To me, that was like being out in the boonies. I know it's not, but in my head it was. So I always had that fear and that thought in the back of my head, like, oh my god, I'm gonna get abducted and that's it, I'm gonna die. And so I feel that those feelings affected my thinking. And so I guess they say it's kind of, there's like a medical explanation for it, but it's basically like your body's asleep but your mind is still awake. And for some reason, you just end up in that state where, you know, you're conscious, but you can't move. And that's why a lot of people associate that with like having some kind of demon or spiritual being sitting on top of you, sitting on your chest area. Mostly the chest area, because you feel like I want to say it's like you're dreaming and you can feel yourself moving and struggling to get up. But in reality, if you're watching yourself from a different part of the room, you're just laying there still. You're not moving. So every time this happened, I would get to the point where I felt like I was screaming, and like I wanted to scream. I could feel like right here, like I had the like that, like I was screaming, but it wasn't coming out, and I wasn't opening my mouth. And for some weird reason, I would snap out of it really quick and jump out of bed like my life depended on it. And I'd run to turn the light on to look around, and I'd look under the bed, in the closet, nothing, my window, nothing. So after that would happen, I would just run to my mom's room and just lay there with her because I was spooked out of my mind. And whenever this would happen, I wouldn't see anything in my room. I was afraid I would. I was afraid that I would see like an alien, because that's like the first thing I would think about, an alien, because they can control you, they can control your mind, they can control time. I'm just thinking all these things, and that's why I'm like, oh my god, maybe it's not letting me see it, but it's in the room. And so I always thought that when I had the sleep paralysis, it was because it was the beginning of an abduction. And again, I never saw anything. I would turn the lights on and look everywhere, nothing. But I'm telling you, that was a period in my life that was frightening, because it was every night for like maybe a good 3 months, and then it just stopped. And I think it stopped because I had more family living with us, so I didn't feel so alone, so isolated, even though I lived with my mom and my brother. But my brother was little, he's 10 years younger than me. And you know, my mom, I just felt like I had to protect them, and I felt so defenseless, I guess, and because I was so scared. And then I had those episodes. It was so scary. I'm not gonna tell you that I saw a ghost, or I'm not gonna tell you that I saw some kind of creature in my room, because I didn't. I just remember that it's a very scary feeling, because you feel like you can't move, but you are alert, and you feel like you're screaming, but you can't really scream because your body's asleep, your body's resting, but your mind's not. So, you know, your eyes are open, you can see everything. And I kind of want to go into a story now aside from all of those situations that happened to me. But I had a bed that was very noisy. Like, it creaked and made all kinds of noises with the subtlest of moves. And it was a 4-post bed, metal, and actually I think it was a day bed, and it had a mattress that actually pulled out from underneath, so if anybody wanted to sleep over, they could sleep there. So I would have to take one of my mattresses from my part of the bed and just put it there, so we each had one mattress. And that specific night, my cousin came to spend the night, and she slept there. I was on my bed. I had my cousin sleeping in the room next door, my older cousin, my mom in her room with my brother, and my room across from my room is the bathroom. So my cousin got up, and again, I'm telling you, with the subtlest of moves, the bed just made all kinds of noise, and it shook a lot. So when she got up, obviously it moved, and it shook me up a little, and I was in a deep sleep. But I do remember, because I was conscious, but at the same time I couldn't move, I do remember that I opened my eyes a little, but since I didn't adjust yet, my vision didn't adjust yet, and it was dark, and the only light source I had was from the bathroom across the hall. Everything in the room looked like shadows. So the bed shook. I opened my eyes slightly, and then all I see is this silhouette of something hovering over me like this. I don't see any details in the face or anything. It's just like the silhouette of a person. And again, I'm super afraid of aliens. So in my mind, it's a fucking alien, and it's hovering over me, and it's ready to touch me or something. I let out the loudest scream, but it was a horrible scream. It wasn't like your typical ah, you know, not like the scary movie screams. It was like a yeah, like that. It was weird. I remember it. It was an ugly scream. It was a scream of utter terror. I was horrified. I was so scared, and my cousin still remembers to this day that she said what happened is that she got up and she realized she shook the bed a little, and she's like, oh crap, you know, she was checking to see if I was still asleep, if I was, or waking up. And when she was hovering over me, she was checking up on me, but that's when I saw the silhouette of the so-called alien, and it freaked me out. And then on top of that, my cousin next door comes to my doorway with like a bat or something, because he thought somebody got into the window and got into my room. It was just this whole scene, man. It was scary at the moment, but then afterwards it was like a good laugh, because like really. But yeah, that's like the stuff that happened to me. Again, I'm not gonna associate it with ghosts or demons, because I personally have never seen or heard anything. It was just a feeling, and I honestly feel that when it happened to me, it was just a whole combination of my paranoia and my fear, and it was just horrible. And I'm so glad I haven't had any episodes like that anytime recently, except one night in this new apartment. And I don't remember exactly. I think I was thinking aliens again. I don't know, maybe I was abducted, guys, like seriously, because they really scare me. Like I can't even, I don't know the term. I'm just really scared of them. They freak me out. I can't look at an image of them, like, you know, the ones that look realistic. They freak me out a lot. And this time that it happened here in the apartment, it was, again, I thought it was like an alien in the room, and I'm looking around and there's nothing. Like, it's just my paranoia, and I hate that. I hate it so much, and I don't want it to keep happening. But yeah, those are my experiences with sleep paralysis, my true feelings on it, and you know what happened. And I'm sorry it's not probably what you expected. I mean, I never saw or felt anything on my chest, you know, like all the other stories that are out there, but I am telling you that it was really scary. And what you really feel is like you can't move and you can't do anything, and then all of a sudden it's like your body reacts, like your mind wakes your body up, and it's like, wow, you do what you gotta do. But I will tell you that it was one scary thing. Like, I hated it so much. I couldn't sleep. But yeah, those are my experiences with sleep paralysis. I don't know if you guys suffer from that, or if you have ever even heard of it. But please share with us your stories, like stuff that's happened to you. Have you seen anything or felt like something on top of you? That's gotta be really, really scary, because you know, you can't see it, but you feel it on you, and that's just horrible. I don't even want to think about it. But if you want to share, please do so. I love reading your stories. I love it when you share with me. I feel like we connect, and hopefully you enjoyed this and you learned something from it. If you have any questions, again, please leave them down below. I will get to them, I promise. And I really hope you guys have a wonderful day and a wonderful evening. Say your prayers before you go to bed, and I will see you in my next video. Bye, guys.